So we're ready for the third stage of flasking. For the third stage, I've made a piece of paper here that fits inside the flask. It's just bright orange so that you can see it. It can just be a piece of paper towel. This is not separated. You don't even have to let it set for long. What I'm doing is putting some stone down and making sure that it's down into the area where the occlusals of those teeth are. Now I'm going to take this piece of paper. You don't want to catch a big air bubble under this paper. That's why I've made the paper wet, and that's why I've put stone down there first. I want to make sure that there's no air under that, so I'm putting it down from one side, pressing it across to make sure that I don't catch any air bubbles under the paper. What the paper does is it acts as a layer to weaken the inside of the stone. That's just going to make it easier for us to get this apart later. I don't even have to turn the vibrator on. I'm just adding the stone until I've got it slightly higher than the top of the flask. Now I take the lid of the flask. I'm just going to put it on, okay, and press it down. You want this to go all the way down. What I'll usually do is I'll take my big spatula after I've pressed it down, and I'll just tap it. I'll hold it with my fingers and tap it to make sure that it's completely seated against the rest of the flask. You don't want this lid to be lifted from the rest of the flask. You're going to end up with the excess stone flowing around the side and coming out these holes in the top. These holes in the top are vents. They help to hold the lid on, and they also give that stone somewhere to go. We're not going to worry about this. Don't try and wash this off. Just leave it. This will harden, and then we can very easily just break it off, and it will break clean off of the flask. So we are now done with our flasking. All we have to do is let the stone set for a few minutes, and then we can go ahead and start doing our processing, or our boil out and our processing.